In this video, we're going to be discussing RevContent profit hacks. So there are four main RevContent profit hacks. The first would be getting a whitelist. The second would be getting a blacklist. The third would be doing live spying. And the final one would be spy tools such as Adplexity. So let's talk a little bit about getting a whitelist. So you need to have some spend history with RevContent before asking them for this. This is specifically because they don't want to give out information of what's performing to people who aren't likely going to be actually utilizing the platform. It's just a very high opportunity cost for them. They're losing infrastructure and energy to occupy people who aren't really big spenders. So you need to have some spend history. You don't have to be a huge spender, but as long as you run like a couple $1,000s and test your first campaign, and then if you say, hey, I'm trying to make this campaign work, I can't make it work, they're going to be way more likely to give you a whitelist when you do this than if you just join the network and ask for one. And if you just join RevContent, sign up, and immediately start asking for whitelist, they're probably not going to want to talk to you at all, simply because it's just way too much of a waste of bandwidth and time for them. So if you can, ask for a whitelist that is not only geo-specific, but niche-specific as well. This is going to drastically increase your speed of results. The reason this is that you're going to want to target in on a specific geo. So if you're targeting, let's say, the United Kingdom, you don't want a whitelist for the United States, you want one for the United Kingdom. You also want a niche-specific one as well. So you don't want to have a like a skin or diet whitelist if you're running a refinance offer. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, this is going to drastically increase your speed of results. And be sure to split test all of your whitelist campaigns across all devices and operating systems. This is something you need to be doing regardless of whether it's a whitelist or if it's just a regular campaign, like a blacklist testing campaign. You need to be more granular with your native advertising than you do with search and Facebook. This is simply because otherwise you're going to start blending your costs and your stats and click-through rates, and you're not actually going to be able to optimize into profit because everything's just so mixed together that it's just kind of like a big blur. You're not able to really tell where your really successful KPIs are. So make sure you split test everything. Whitelists are the single fastest way to jump straight into profits with native campaigns. I have had multiple instances where whitelists have put me right into profit on native campaigns. I actually had a whitelist that I built out for one of my very first native campaigns that took me about a week or so to build. Once I implemented the whitelist, I was doing about $800 to $1,500 pure profit every single day off of the whitelist. So if I had had that right off the bat, I would have been doing those numbers right out of the gate. So another example would be I was running a refinance campaign in 2017, and somebody gave me a whitelist for a refinance in the United States. And I immediately plugged it in, and it started doing about $150 to $200 profit per day. Now, it did burn out pretty quickly, but this was due to the offer being paused and not because of the whitelist itself. So I still have that whitelist somewhere for the refinance niche. So every time I get a whitelist, I'm going to hold on to it because, once again, it's the fastest way to jump straight into profit with native campaigns. The next is getting a blacklist. So this is for those who can't get a whitelist. They're going to be much more likely to give you a blacklist to start running traffic than they are going to give you a whitelist, because getting a blacklist is kind of a different thing altogether. You're just blocking out junk traffic. You're not actually focusing in on somebody else's profitable placements. A blacklist, like I said, is going to block out the majority of junk traffic that's literally just going to burn your money. So even if you're a newbie, if you upload, let's say, $1,000 or $2,000 into your RevContent account, and you say, hey, I'm concerned with bot traffic, would you guys mind giving me a very generic blacklist for this country so that I don't have to worry about bot traffic and whatnot? I would also be sure to ask them the types of categories to advertise in, which ones have the most amount of bots. From my experience, the anime category I won't even touch. I won't touch anything basically besides conservative news, editorial news, health and fitness, and there's one other, I believe it's the religion and faith. Outside of that, I'm really not going to touch a single category simply because there's so much garbage traffic in the rest of those categories that it's just it's just not even really profitable to run. So keep that in mind as well. That's a little golden nugget for you. But blacklists are simply the #1 way to save money when you're getting started. Highly recommended for every single person, regardless of your budget. I don't care if you have $20,000, you have $2,000, you need to be using blacklists to save money. It's just, I mean, native 101. So the next is doing live spying regularly. And I know this is kind of a routine one that you keep seeing throughout these profit hacks, but this is super, super important. And it's probably more important here on native than anywhere else. So use the exact same Google method that I show in the tutorial to live spy on placements and find where offers in your niche are being run. You also want to focus on the devices. So use the Chrome extension called User Agent Switcher to test by device. If you really want to ramp up your live spying abilities, you need to invest in something called NordVPN. It's not very expensive. I think it's like, last time I checked, I think it's like maybe $5 or $10 a month, but this allows you to live spy in other countries. It allows you to like basically connect to IPs in other countries, and the internet basically thinks that you're located in that country. So if you go to a website that has ads on RevContent and you're logged into a German IP and you have your user agent switcher, you can look through all the devices on that site and you're going to see the ads that are being run in Germany. So it's really, really, really helpful to have access to something like this, and NordVPN is the best one in my opinion. So the final one are spy tools, and specifically Adplexity. I think for the money, Adplexity is the best bang for the buck. I've used Adplexity before to literally copy other marketers' winning campaigns, and I have attached a link below. I also have a review on the Drip Revenue YouTube channel. You're welcome to check that out and see what you think. Remember, we always want to use variables that we know other people are using. We don't want to add in any variables like our own images, our own headlines. Preferably, we would want to even use the same landing page and the same offer that the person's running to. So we want to keep everything identical to how those people are running. So if I go into Adplexity and I sort by what's been running the longest and I see that it's still running, I want to take a look and see exactly where they're running. So if they've changed geos, if they've changed offers, landing pages, if the widgets have switched up, if they've changed devices, I want to look at all those things and I want to copy what they're doing. At this point, please proceed to the next video to continue.